And we are live. It's a deadline day. Ryan Archer, West Ham Fan TV. I'm joined by Happy Nicky Hawkins. It's yeah. Listen, thank you everyone for joining us tonight. It's 10:30. It's late. The deadline shut in 29 minutes now. It hasn't been a great day, has it? As you can see, scrolling across the bottom, ins none, out. 3 players have left the club today, mate. Probably the main one, Winston Reid. Good move for him, I think. Before we get into the not signing anyone, let's talk about a couple of the 3 players that are left today. Winston Reid gone to Brentford on loan for the season. Good move for him, I think.
Yeah, look, Reid was finished a couple of years ago. I think that injury finished him off. He was never going to be back in our starting lineup. I think he'll do well at Brentford. I think he'll do well. But it's
they're flying high as well, aren't they, Brentford? And you know, it'd be nice for him to, you know, if they did get promotion this season, to sort of end his career on a high. You know, I don't know how long he's got left to play, but no, Brentford are a good club. You know, it'd do well. It'd do well there.
I think, to be honest with you, his injury record over the last couple of years has been devastating. And this could be one of them ones where, you know, like a bit like Jack Collison, where he takes a step down, but he, you know, halfway through the season, he just thinks, "Fuck this," you know what I mean? Like, and sort of quits. You know, when he just realizes he just can't do it again. And it's a shame for Reedy, because I thought, you know, he's been a big part of our club. He's like, whether you know, I didn't always buy into the Winston Reid character, if that makes sense. Like,
yeah, he had a bit of he seemed like a moody character, didn't he?
Yeah, I just never warmed to him like Reedy. But listen, there's no denying he's been here for 11 years. It's been now. He's been here for a long time. He's played some big games. He played through the Championship with us. He came up. He was a massive part. Like 5-6 years ago, you wouldn't have sold him for any money. He was massive. It's just, you know, it's a shame when these sort of, you know, these chapters of these players come to an end, because it's, you know,
the thing is as well, whatever happens, he'll always be in our history when he was the last person to ever score at the Boleyn. I mean, there's some great memories of Winston Reid down the years. The goal against Millwall, the winner at Upton Park. You know, he was a good servant for West Ham. As you said, though, you know, it's a shame the way it sort of ended for him. You know, I was at the game at Swansea away when he got injured. Me and Scott were there. We both said at that time that that's a really bad injury, and it's proved it, because he's never really got back to the Winston Reid we knew. You remember a few years ago, Arsenal was sniffing around him, weren't they? And he signed a new 5-year deal, and we was all buzzing when he done that. But no, I wish him well.
Yeah, absolutely. He might come back for a testimonial when the stadium opens again. He's been here long enough.
I'd like to see him come back, even if you don't get a testimonial, just to come back and sort of say goodbye to the fans, whether it be before a game. You know, I don't want him to do it at half time, because everyone fucks off at half time, don't they? So that'd be nice. He deserves something like that. He's been a good servant to West Ham. But the other player that's gone out on loan, the youngster that scored in the FA Cup, Afolayan, gone to Bolton for the rest of the season on loan. And the youngster, Elise, has gone to Cambridge on loan for the rest of the season.
Cardoso left as well, didn't he?
Yeah, Cardoso. Yeah, he left on.
I think that was yesterday.
I know. I was just talking about what's gone on today. But yeah, Cardoso's gone to, is it Basel for the rest of the season? Yeah, I mean, Afolayan, I know he scored in the FA Cup, but it'll be a good experience for him to drop down and go and play at a club like Bolton. He'll play every week, most probably, get a lot of game time there. Yeah, it's. I think the main thing we want to talk about, though, is the ins, because, you know, it's been. I mean, we'll talk about the ins for today. I mean, obviously, we got in Ben Rama on a permanent, Jesse Lingard on loan for the rest of the season, which was a good signing. Look, I know there's what 25 minutes left of the transfer window, but there's definitely nothing happening today, and I'm really disappointed because I know that there's rumours today that David Sullivan has offered players to David Moyes, and David Moyes has turned around and said no, he don't want them. And do you know what? Fair play to him. He's not just taking anything, But we needed a striker in. I was confident that we was going to get someone in. I mean, to be fair, I could turn around and say, well, Jesse Lingard's a striker, but I'm not clutching onto that. We needed another striker in to challenge Antonio, to not only give him competition, but just to be there if he does pick up another injury. So, I mean, they're talking about Josh King now. He's got a choice between Fulham and Everton. Why ain't we in for someone like Josh King?
Sadly, mate, I don't know. And do you know what? Right, you know what I'm like. I wouldn't say I'm a pessimist character, but I'm not ever confident. And I feel sorry for people that've got your mentality. You want to be positive about things. You know what I mean? You always want to look on the bright side of things. And I feel sorry for people like that, because
I don't feel sorry for me, mate, because I can always look at the positives and the negatives. I just thought that David Moyes,
but I understand. But there are people, and it's got to be on the point where there are people that won't hear a bad word about them and all of that sort of thing, and I really feel sorry for people like that who just have sort of blind. Fucking what's the word? Just blind hope that
every time that screen flashes yellow, I'm waiting for West Ham breaking news. That's how desperate I am. It's not happening.
But I feel sorry for the blind hope that think they just can't do it to us again, but they do it to us again and again and again, and it just goes to show. I mean, this is, for me, I said this last night. This is the final now in a coffin. Like, they've had excuses over the past few years, where we wasn't doing too great. We never invested properly and all of that sort of thing. But this season, they had a real chance, a real opportunity to, we've had no transfer budget, right? And I don't understand it. Like, I don't understand it. We're the 18th richest club in world football. Whether you want to, if people want to admit that or not, we are the 18th richest club in world football. Them two guys are at the top of the club. I'll say it, over and over again. When they sold you your season tickets, they all told everyone we was going to be as, competing with the likes of Bayern Munich, Arsenal, Manchester United, and everything else for the transfers. And they have not put not one penny of any, I'm not even talking about their own money. I'm talking about the club's money to, but David Moyes being in this position, we are punching. Let's be honest, we are punching the team. He's got the team playing brilliantly. He might like to, go along with a small squad or whatever. But what manager in their right mind, if their chairman turned around and said, you know what, you've done such a good job, go out, find yourself any centre forward, within reason, obviously, any centre forward in the world that would fit your system, that would improve this team, that could get us over the line to do something, to give these. I'm not even talking about like the club a little bit of success, but the fans. They owe the fans a little bit of. I wouldn't even say they owe us success, right? But they owe us the. They owe us at least trying.
They owe us the chance to believe in the team and that we can put something.
They owe us that. They owe us that. These are two of the biggest charlatans in football.
Three of the biggest.
Mate, I'm not even going to counter, because the two at the top are the ones that make the decision. And David Gold gets off a little bit lightly at times, but let's not negate his role in all of this. He's got a role on the ball. He's got a say. You know, he could at least make an argument for it. These are two of the biggest charlatans in football. They do not know how to run a modern day football club. They will not invest club money, which I find baffling. They have not spent a penny. Every penny that's gone out this window, they've got in from selling somebody or something else. They are, honestly, if anybody now has got any argument for them, you know, you need to come forward. And the thing is with, you know, the way they run the club as well, you see these people like, and I'm going to name them as well. I'm not going to be like shameful in naming them. You see these people like Hugh Southern and Sean Whetstone and people like that talk about transfer rumours, and they hint that we're going to get someone. And I think that's what really drives people up the wall. Is it's the hope that kills. Do you know what I mean? It's the hope. They are driving traffic to their websites. They're making money, whether you like it or not, on false rumours, you know, rumours that they know are not true, and they drive traffic to their website like that. They know they're not true. They know for a fact we're not going to try and get anyone. They've known for all window, and then when it comes to the crunch, what did he do last night? David Moyes come out. Probably said it a little bit earlier than they would have liked. Turned around and said, "Look, I think our business is done. I don't think we're going to get anyone in." And he turns around and says, "David Moyes said it. You know, it's true. Like, we ain't signing anyone." And then like posts like memes of like, "It is what it is. It is what it is." You know, it's not. You know, why do that? You know, we've got one of the most volatile but we've got one of the most wound up fan bases in the world. And, you know, they're lucky, because if we'd have been any lower than this, I think there would have been real questions asked. But you've got to think.
The problem is, I think if we would have been lower, we probably would have signed someone. I think they're so comfortable at the moment. And when you look at the options we've got, right? Say you've got Antonio up there. You got Yarmolenko that can play up top. Let's take it that we're going to just play one up top all season, right? Whoever's fit. You got Yarmolenko, you got Antonio, you got Bowen that can play there. You've got Lingard that can play there. That's what they're looking at. They're looking at them options there. You've got Odebeku on a youngster who I think will get promoted now to the first team squad, and he'll be more involved. I think when you look at the attacking options we've got, as long as they all stay fit, they're probably looking at, right, we've got 17 games left of the season and the FA Cup, of course, but they've got 17 league games. We're not going to get relegated. So I think
that's the thing that sort of upsets me the most, right, is the fact that we're still in the running for everything. You know, apart from the League Cup, we're still in the running. We get to that game on, let's say,
I'll be honest with you, mate. I'd only play Antonio in the cup. I'd leave him out for the league now.
Well, let's just say we get to that sort of 5th round tie against Manchester United. It's tough. It's a tough round. It's a tough round. You're going to have to be on your real A game to get through that away in the league. We lose Antonio in the first 10 minutes. You know, whether it be injury or whatever. We go 1-0 down. We're trying to nick a goal. Who scores the goals? You know, who? We looked at it like, at least when Antonio went down last time, he's already been injured. He's an injury-prone player that has been injured this season for large parts of the season. Yeah, large parts of the season. We had Haller to chuck in right there. Wasn't my choice, you know, but he was a body. He was somebody. Now, it was. You know, we sold him real early on in the transfer window. You know, it's a couple of weeks now that he's been, you know, everyone would have just thought, you know, it's common sense that, you know, we've got someone lined up. Why would we let him go? They let him go because they wanted the money.
Yeah. I mean, one thing I would say is that what I said earlier is about David Moyes. Apparently he was offered players and he didn't think they'd fit West Ham. And over the years, you know, we've taken anyone that's been offered.
But it's not down. It should not be down to them to be offering him players, you know. It shouldn't be down to them offering the players. They should have turned around and said to him, "Go and find someone that you want." Like,
well, apparently the players that he want and he identified are not available at the moment because the clubs that they play for can't replace them, so they're not in a position to sell. So I respect that. If David Moyes has got someone he wants to spend big money on in the summer, then. But for me, you know, I look at it and I know we was linked with him today, Diego Costa. For me, he's out of contract. We could sign him tomorrow. You know, he's a free transfer. It doesn't have to be done tonight. You know, he's out of contract, so he is someone we could bring in. Wages for me are going to be too much. If I'd love someone like Diego Costa for the rest of the season because he could play in the FA Cup. You know, he could play. You know, it adds so much to that squad. I think something that we're missing. You know, it would be such a David Sullivan thing to sign someone outside of the transfer window, out of contract, and the only player I can think of at the moment that would fit our team is Diego Costa. But I think the wages are just going to be too much. I mean, he's on something ridiculous. Well, he was on something ridiculous at Madrid. But listen, if he wants to come back and prove something, he's only 32. He'll have 17 games at West Ham and the FA Cup, of course. You know,
right. Whatever he's on, if he's still even like a part of the player that he was at Chelsea, and I'm not expecting to be, you know, that exact same mould.
I think he's 32, isn't he? So he's still got age on his side.
Well, he's not got a club. We could probably still sign him because he's out of contract, but he ain't got a club.
We can.
Offer it, just give him the money and see what he can do.
The only thing, I mean, yeah, Costa was linked with. I know it came out earlier that he was linked with a top 6 club, and personally, I thought it would have been Tottenham. You know, so there are going to be teams sniffing around him and things like that. But I don't know. I mean, if the window shuts and we don't get anyone in, which it don't look like we are, and we don't get someone in on a free, I just look at it that I still think, as long as we don't pick up injuries, I still think we've got enough to see out this season. I still think we've got.
I don't think they should have been looking out. They should have been looking out to see out this season. Right, they had a real opportunity. I
personally think we still have got a good opportunity as long as everyone stays fit. I think our players have proved it in the first half of the season that as long as they stay fit. But that's the main question. The main thing is keeping these players fit. You know, it only takes 2 or 3 players, and we've been saying that all season, and we've been lucky in the first half of the season. It's only really been Antonio really that's picked up an injury. Declan Rice, Souček, Sufal, you know, they haven't picked up injuries, you know, and if one of them was to pick up injuries, we'd be so short in that midfield. So you got to keep fingers crossed, but it's disappointing. It is really, and you're right what you're saying. You know, we've been let down once again. You know, I'm not blaming David Moyes. I'm not blaming Moyes. I think what Moyes is doing with what he's got is great, but the board, you know, they've come out earlier in this transfer window and they said they don't want us to have European football. You know, it's ridiculous. It's absolutely ridiculous.
I think that proves it. I think this proves it. He was whinging about a fucking 20 grand bill when they went up to Everton. What's he going to do back and fly to Madrid? You know what I mean? Like,
yeah, because I think Ryanair's going bust, so they won't be able to go with the cheap option.
They are, honestly, mate. They are to want of another word without being too harsh. They're scumbags.
I mean, look, things could work out. The way this season's going, you know, things could work out. Jesse Lingard could come in and he could be a real good addition. And he could maybe play in that striker's role. You know, he's done it before for United. Not often, but he has done it. He is quick. He's got skill. You know, he could be that answer. But I don't think it is the right answer. We need an out-and-out striker to come. I mean, I see Colton Cole in the studio yesterday. He was looking sharp and fit. Fucking get him back. We've done it before, but no, joking aside, it's been a disappointing window. I mean, what, we've got 10 minutes now until it shuts. You know, I can't see nothing happening. You know, it's disappointing.
Nothing is happening. Let's take some comments from the chat. I see someone donate the 5,499 comes up in a
I
nice.
see someone just said there that don't have a laugh. Lingard's not a striker. I didn't say he was a striker. I just said he can play that role. He's done it before. And I said after, it's not the answer.
Let's be real. The only hope we have up front is Jesse. How can he can play in the position? Antonio will eventually get injured, and Costa would not come. Let's go. He was an actual striker. I think this is talking about Haller and not a converted winger. We keep on forgetting. Adam Pullock said, "Get Costa. He's free. Even if it's till the end of the season. He's a menace." As long as Schweinsteiger doesn't block out our goalie from reaching the ball, then we'll beat him this time, says Carlo English. James Sheridan, that's no one joining this window then. No, it doesn't look like anybody's joining this window, which is, I think, is fucking mental, to be honest with you. King looks like he's on his way to Everton. George Petrie says, I get the feeling my team needs a left back as we don't have one. I've got one in this window. Who the fuck's who's your team? Fulham getting Josh Maja and Everton getting Josh King. What's the point in having any more hope with this board? No, I think that, and that's what I said. I think it's the hope that kills. I think, but is anybody surprised? But now, I'm getting to the point where I'm sick and tired. Like I could be absolutely going ballistic. Like I said it last night, I called it last night. No one's coming in. It was so obvious. It's been obvious for a long time that they haven't really been. I don't believe they've really been looking, because they would have got somebody. Sean said on his podcast, Costa wants £103,000 a week for a 30-month deal. I wouldn't give him no 30-month deal, but I'll tell you what I would give him. I'd give him £100,000 a week and tell him every time he scores he's going to get another 50 till the end of the season. See how we go from there. And if he
I'm not being funny, we give Jack Wilshere £100,000 a week for 3 years. So, and he played what, 4 games? So
yeah, that's what I'm saying. Like it's when you look at what's come in and gone out in the last few. I mean, 3 seasons ago we had Andy Carroll, Perez,
Hernandez,
Arnautovic, all at the club at the same time. I'm sure there was another one, all at the club at the same time. And when we bought Haller in, we sold all of them. Every single one of them left. We've never replaced Arnautovic for Arnautovic would be the perfect fit for this club. It's unfortunate because he's somebody that's been and gone, and he did stab us in the back, and I don't like to go back. But when you look at the way we play and the way Moyes likes to play, that's why Arnautovic done so well for us, because he was in that mould. He just he fitted perfectly. He was like he was like a perfect fit in the part. He would do brilliantly for us at the minute.
What about? Do you think that maybe? I know we've said it before. When you look at him, you can see him playing this role, and he's done it in the FA Cup. Do you think that maybe Yarmolenko could be sort of? Do you think Moyes could mould Yarmolenko into that sort of? I'm not going to say he's as good as Arnautovic, but like what he did to Arnautovic, just give him a bit more game.
He's got that. He's got that build. And
I'll tell you what, I noticed yesterday.
The one.
I don't know if you noticed it yesterday as well with Yarmolenko. He looked a lot trimmer.
He's obviously the one that they fancy as a centre forward.
I think they've been working him on the training ground.
Yeah, and he plays that way for the Ukraine and all of that. But he's not going to be as good as Arnautovic, because he just hasn't got that turn of pace. That's what Arnautovic had over, and that's what Antonio's got. He's like Arnautovic. He wasn't the quickest in the world, but off the mark, he was one of the quickest I've ever seen at the club. Like, that just from zero to full pelt, he was really quick, and he hustled people. He was there. He was giving people grief all the time. That's what made him so good for us. And he was a good goal scorer. I just can't see him having that sort of pace.
What about them? No, go on. Sorry.
No, what I'm saying is we'd have to get the wingers a lot around him a lot more. and that would mean the likes of Antonio going back out on the wing, with a bit of pace. Because as much
I
as
know,
I like,
I was thinking more of Yama if Antonio picks up an injury.
well, it's going to have to be. There's no one
Or
else.
the only other option I could think of is maybe if, maybe putting Bowen, maybe trying Bowen up top and putting Lingard out wide where Bowen plays. You've got options of Lanzini, Fornals, Benrahma, Yarmolenko that can play out wide. Jesse Lingard now. I mean, Bowen done it for Hull. He's never really been given that chance. He ain't really had an option, really, has he, to play up top? He's always been put out, but he's never moaned. So maybe he could be an option if Antonio was to pick up an injury. Playing Bowen, because he's got pace.
These shouldn't be options, right? We shouldn't.
No, I'm just thinking. I'm just trying to.
You're completely right, because we've got nobody else.
Right?
We've got nobody else. He's going to have to do that. He's got no choice now, unless he finds, unless someone's out of contract, like Costa, who wants to come in. If they can negotiate something.
I think Sunderland released someone today, Danny Graham. We'll probably get him in on a free or something.
That's the thing. Unless something like that happens, he's got no choice but to do that. But as I said last night, I made an analogy last night, which we said on post-match point. Just because my dick fits in a Lucasade bottle shouldn't mean I should put it there.
Yeah, I think I tweeted that today. Well, at least we know what you do in your spare time now.
No, but it's we've got.
Have you ever tried a lemonade bottle? Because I'd be worried if you get it in that.
No, I couldn't get one.
You should have said a pint glass.
But what I'm saying is like, we've got. Say we was an old fella, right? We was an old fella, and we've got a chance to get some teeth and go and have a steak meal, or we can turn back, forget the teeth, not get any teeth, and go and lick up the slops behind us. That's the option.
Where are you fucking getting these from? What? But you got a book or something with all these?
No, honestly, but that's the option we're taking. We've decided to have a go at a steak with no teeth, and eventually, I think we're just going to go and have to lick up the slops that are behind us. That's what I think we're going to have to do. We're not going to be able to get through the steak. We're going to have to go for the fucking porridge.
Yeah. Look, it's. The thing is, there are still options. There are still options in that team. I'm still confident that we've got enough in this squad to have a decent second half of the season, unless we obviously pick up injuries, and that's the same for any team, but we are short. But if we can somehow get through this second half of the season and do as well as we've done in the first half, and finish in that top 8, around that top 8, then we've had a great season, better than what any of us expected, to be honest. And then in the summer, Moisey can go out and he can go and get each striker that he wants. And yeah, just because it's disappointing for Declan Rice. I think of someone like Declan Rice, and he's probably looking at it as, where's the ambition? But you never know what's been said to him. You never know what's Moisey said to him, that in the summer he's identified a couple of players. He's already come out and said that. That's just it's frustrating, because on deadline day you always want to be in news. You want to be signing players. But look, there's not been a lot of deals done in this transfer window. I think a lot of teams, even teams like Man City, haven't really done anything. I mean, Liverpool went out today and had to sign a Preston defender. I know they brought in that other defender from Germany. Man United haven't really done it. All the big teams haven't really done anything. West Brom have done a couple of deals today. That's Big Sam. He's got in a couple of good players. He's fighting for their life down there. But yeah, I still think we've got enough in the second half of the season to.
The thing is, with the terms of revenue, obviously the revenue they're going to say that they've lost is going to be, match day revenue. But in terms of everybody else, we are in the best position for losing match day revenue, because we only pay a set amount of money per year, and that's £2 million to the stadium owners. And for that, we give up our catering rights and our, all of that sort of thing, which brings a stream of revenue. But the thing is, with that stream of revenue, that ain't our revenue anyway. So when you know, when teams can't sell their hot dogs or their pies or their drinks and all that, that's money that goes into the club for them, you know. For us, that doesn't affect us. You know, we're not losing that money because we've taken a huge subsidiary on the stadium. You know, a club would pay, you know, millions of pounds running a stadium a year. You know, paying staff and all that sort of stuff. We don't pay that because we give up our catering rights. So we are the best placed team to deal with this financially. And plus, you know, the extra games on Sky, they're not going on Sky for free. You know, they've got to pay for them rights. And that will cover the revenue we've lost. There is no excuses here. There's no excuses at all.
I just noticed that it's officially shut now. It's 11:01.
Yeah, I can see it's closed. Well, stamp one of them stamp.
Oh yeah, do you remember that skin? But yeah, look, it's disappointing. But I don't want it to turn to negative now, you know, because we need, as we've done all season, and as we always do, we've always said GSB out, it will always stand. But at the moment, while the team's doing well and Moyes doing well, you know, they need us. I know we're not there. We're not at the games, but they know where they're supporting them. We need to be behind the team, which we always will be. I know that. But let's not let this dreadful transfer window distract the good work that we've done in the first half of the season and the hard work that the players have been putting in, and David Moyes. As we said yesterday, players have been coming in on their days off from training. So let's get behind them for the second half of the season. Let's hope that we can have the next 3 games in the league. We've got Villa, Fulham, and then Sheffield United. You know, and in between that, we've got Man United in the cup. So the next 4 games are massive for our season.
Let's go back to that Liverpool game yesterday. I think as a side, we got it wrong. But listen, we've been perfect. We've been perfect since the beginning of the year. We've been perfect. We played each game perfectly. We got it wrong against, you know, Liverpool. But when you don't get it right, they've got the players to, you know, to damage you. And although we haven't got a striker, This is when me looking at the positives now. At the moment, just at the moment, it may not be the case for the rest of the season. We've got our first choice striker. You know, we've got a first choice team. We've got a good team. We've added Lingard to the mix. I didn't see his super chat. Sorry, Hayden. Send it again, Matt. I'll read it out. Yeah, we've added Lingard to the mix. There he is. I've got it. We've added Lingard to the mix, and at the moment, we've got the team that has got us this far so far. If that makes sense. Yeah. Yeah. So there is no injuries. Like, you know, I'm looking at this from a negative point of view, but looking at the positive point of view, we have added Lingard to a team that's already gone on. Now it all starts against Villa on Wednesday. We go to Villa, try and take a point at least out of them. Then, as you say, we go to West Brom. We set ourselves up for the season. If we get lucky with Antonio, then, you know, it ain't going to look like the worst decision in the world. But
one thing that Lingard adds to the squad as well, I mean, he adds a winning mentality because he's experienced. He's got Champions League experience, Europa League experience, World Cup experience. He's got a lot of experience. You know, he scored in FA Cup finals. He scored the winner in the FA Cup final for United. He's going to add a lot to our change room, and I think he'll add a lot to the team. As I said when we signed him, he's got something to prove. He wants to be in that European squad in the summer for England. You know, he's got a lot to prove, and I'm excited for him to come in because I think he will settle in well at West Ham. He seems like a really grounded person. You know, the players are taking to him. You know, we see him yesterday at the ground. You know, he was out training on the pitch before the game to get his fitness up. I'm hoping that he'll be on the bench for the Villa game. If not, if he has to get his fitness up with another week's training, he'll be ready to go for Fulham on Saturday. Yeah,
absolutely. I think he'll come in pretty quickly, Jesse Lingard. He's a naturally fit lad, and he's only a young boy. But, you know, as I said, looking at the positives of it all, and it's difficult. It's difficult when, you know, you've been let down again, but we've still got the team that have done well this far. The only problem I've got with it is we haven't got a backup or someone to challenge Antonio, and his form is not at the moment. And he turns it around so quickly, so I wouldn't worry too much about this. But he's not on top form at the minute. But
confident about Odibeko though. Confident he can come in and do a job, given the chance.
I don't know.
Young, fresh.
That's the problem, right? I don't know. I don't know about him because I haven't seen him. I don't know. It's just disappointing. I'm disappointed, but looking at the positives, as I say, at the moment we've still got our team. We've still kept our big players. We've let a few players that are nowhere near the squad go. I think it's madness when you're letting strikers go when you ain't got no strikers. But we've still got the team that we had, and they've done so well. If they can just see it out for the rest of the season, and I'm not confident that they will, but if they can, then we've lost nothing. So I don't know. I'm trying to look at positive things. I'm proper fucking angry, to be honest with you. But
yeah, I think we all are. I think we all feel it. It's disappointing. As I said, you see teams like Fulham and Everton going for Josh King, and I mean, a couple of weeks ago there was people saying we shouldn't look at nowhere near Josh King, but I've been saying it all throughout the transfer window that someone like Josh King I think would be a good signing. It'd be cheap.
I don't know what I haven't seen what Everton have paid for him, right? But apparently Bournemouth were willing to offload today because they lose him in the summer.
I think it's about 6 million.
Yeah, they went down to like as low as 5 million. 5 million is nothing. That's what we pay for Soufal. It's nothing in today's money. We paid £3 million for a loan for Lingard.
I bet David Sullivan was watching Sky Sports News. He see it was 5 million. He was like, "What?" And he couldn't get off his settee. he fucking.
It's nothing for an option. It's nothing. Their kids sell for more than that these days. I mean, look at that kid. I think one of the kids from Liverpool sold for something like 20 million, 30 million, or something like that. He hadn't even played a minute in the Premier League.
And to think that Man United tried to sign Josh King last January for 25 million and Bournemouth turned it down.
But listen, we're still in the middle of a pandemic, right? We're still. Let me just make this point before we start wrapping it down. Take some more comments and all that. We'll read this comment on the screen in a minute. Brewster went for 25 million. Yeah, we're still in the middle of a pandemic. They are. I think they are comfortable at the minute. No one can go out. They've had a couple of people turning up at the gates and all of that sort of thing, holding up flags, but they're thick-skinned people. Believe me, if this half of the season goes down the pisser because they couldn't pull their finger out their asses and do only what they promised us, not what we asked for, but what they promised us. If it goes down the pisser, and I'm not saying it will, and I hope it doesn't. But if it does, if the second half of the season, if we lose Antonio and we become toothless and stop winning games, the world is going to be back to normal in the next 6-7 months. When the
next season
comes, yeah, they need. If I was them, I wouldn't turn up because there are going to be people fucking gunning for them, and rightly so because they are. I don't know what they're just. It's getting to the point now, right, where they're just taking the piss. They're basically bending over and sticking their cock up their ass every year that passes, and they keep on doing it, and they keep on doing. We're like beaten wives. We keep on going back, and I think honestly, I think it's come to a point now. Like if this goes down the pisser, it'll make Burnley look like Disneyland, because I don't think anyone's. I don't think anyone's going to have it now. Let's read this fucking super chat out. Hayden Taylor, it's a shame we didn't get a striker. We needed some sort of striker. We had links with Ed and Dzeko, Hwang Hee-chan from Leipzig, and Diego Costa. Anyone, Yeah,
I mean, the Leipzig striker, I think the reason why was because their club couldn't find a replacement, and that's the problem because a lot of clubs haven't got the money to spend at the moment. like Chris has just popped up. Like, I mean, I could say, well, no, really, we signed Lingard as a striker, but no, I'll stick to my word. You know, I'll buy you a beer. I'm happy. I won't be at the gates. So you'll have to come to the pub. I'm happy, or to buy you one in the stadium. I'm happy all day long. I'll stick to my word. I'm glad I only said a pint and not a grand. But no, listen, it's disappointing. You know, we're all disappointed, but I still think that we've got enough to get through the second half of the season. I mean, let's look at it. We're fifth in the table. You know, it could be a lot worse. You know, we are, as we've said, we're punching above our weight at the moment, big time. I'll say that. No, we're where we are because we've earned it, because we've got the results. You know, so if we can have, even if we have half as good as second half of the season as we had to first, we're still going to finish in the top 10, which is. That's more than what I expected, I'll be honest, at the start of the season. We were favourites for relegation. You know, we lost that game to Newcastle opening day of the season and everyone was up in arms. So we've done well. You know, let's just see what happens now. Let's see. As I said, we can still pick up a free transfer if there's anyone out there. You know, they're probably still looking. There might be a little gem out there that we don't know about, but it is what it is, isn't it?
Yeah, I just it's just a gamble, right? It annoys because it's gamble. You know what I mean? Like, you start going up north in a car, you've only got half a tank of petrol. Do you want to chance it, or do you just want to fill up? You know what I mean? And I think we could have filled up. I think it's madness. I think it's a piss take, if I'm honest. You know what I mean? Like, you're just gambling on you know, being able to you know, first half of the season are never the same as. You know, second halves of the season never the same as first halves of the season. You know, it's, you know, everyone sort of found their feet. You know, played a lot of teams at early doors. You know, injuries. You know, people coming back from injury and all of that sort of thing. I just think it's crazy that they've taken away options and not given any options back. It's a gamble. It's just. It doesn't sit right with me, and it's not their money; it's club money. That money, like, as much as we say we you know, they're putting it in their pockets, they ain't putting it in their pockets. They get it in their pockets somehow through, you know, thinking that, but that money is there to be invested, and I don't know why they haven't at least you know, given him some money to go and invest. Like, people saying he had 20, 30 million to spend. Bollocks, did he? Bollocks, you know. He's probably fucking told him, like, you know, like, people saying in the nose are saying that he had 20, 30 million to spend. Who the fuck does the information come from? It comes from the top. What are they going to say? No, we weren't going to give him fuck all. You know, once again, he's another manager that they're just trying to, you know, chuck under the. I just think it's madness. You know. As I say, we're in such a good position. If this season goes down a piss with 17 games left, you know. But as I said before, win the FA Cup, and I don't give a shit about any of it, to be honest.
Yeah, I think that's a priority, isn't it, to go for that FA Cup? You know, league. You want to finish as high as possible in the league. Don't get me wrong. I wouldn't want to see us now drop to and finish 14th, 15th. But if we won the FA Cup. Listen, I couldn't give a shit where we finished as long as we didn't get relegated. But I want to see us really go at it the second half of the season, because I think we've got a good enough squad, good enough fully fit starting 11 to compete, to break into that top 8, maybe the top 6. Top 4 is well off. Like, it's proved it yesterday how far we're away from these sort of teams. I mean, Liverpool had they had like an FA Cup team out yesterday, and we couldn't get near them. You know, we could not get near them, and that was down to players probably not showing enough passion. But then I say they couldn't get near them. So, and Moisey should have maybe changed tactics after 20 minutes when he could see that the midfield wasn't working with Liverpool's diamond. Maybe he should have matched them up and tried to go that way. But look, I'm not a Premier League manager. I don't get paid to make them decisions.
James Ted King says Sky Sports is saying GSB give Moyes 20, 30 million sign a striker this morning and he was happy with the squad. What's your thoughts? There ain't no manager in the world that is completely happy with his squad. No manager in the world. I don't care how good his squad is either. Chatwin Record says because they're selling up soon. Yeah, I think so as well. this season will be a missed season. Next season we'll be back to fighting relegation, says Mark Edwards. Postman Chappie lineup versus Villa: Fab, Kufal, Oggy Dawson, Cressy, Rice, Suchek, Bowen, Jay Lings, Ben Rama, Antonio. Lingard ain't starting that game, mate. No chance. Lawrence Frempong says simply beat Man United. Mark Noon says fat Sean. Sean Wetston, I think. Trying to be positive. Villa, Fulham, and Sheffield could absolutely be 7 to 9 points. Think about that. Then think about the feelings after Newcastle. What a blast of a year! Absolutely, mate. Yeah, no,
I think that's what I was saying there. The next 3 Premier League games, Villa, Fulham, and Sheffield United, are massive because they're all winnable games. And as I said, in between that, we've got the FA Cup game against United as well. But them 3 league games, because I think after that, don't we play like City and Spurs back to back?
Yeah. February's pretty
like
tough.
That. So if we can pick up, 7 points out of the next 3 games would be massive. Absolutely massive.
Kai 27. What I don't understand is the fact that us finishing in Europe and having a cup run makes them more money in the long run. Is so short-sighted. I don't think they're in it for the long run, mate. That's the problem. Phil Brown says I'm calling bullshit. I don't know what he's calling bullshit on, but he's just saying bullshit.
Bullshit.
Someone should be investigating the running of our club. All this wheeling and dealing is taking a piss out of us. Nobody's going to investigate anything for taking a mick. You know, there's got to be something illegal going on. You can't just start investigating for taking a mickey.
I'll tell you what they want to investigate. David Gold's Twitter account. See what he put out last night? That can't be him, surely. I know I've heard before that it's not him running it, but surely he won't. I just don't get why a 70-odd-year-old man would be sitting up at 11:30 at night writing that. It can't
I think
be
he
him.
might be on the cherries.
I reckon he lets his grandkids run his account or something.
Charlie Payne, I've just had a feeling this season this is going to be a tale of 2 halves, with the second half of the season being a struggle. Let's hope not, mate. Let's try and stay positive. Lodge Frimpong, I felt last night we could have challenged Liverpool a bit more. Yeah, we could have, but we didn't. So, yeah, that one's gone. Let's get to the next one. You're mighty confident you're going to beat United, ain't you?
I'm not confident. I'm confident we're going to compete against them. You know, United got some great players. You know, I always say that Man United, for me, are still the biggest club in the world. They've had a terrible last 5, 6, 7 years, but they've still won the odd trophy there. And, you know, so, and players like Fernandes, you know, he tore us apart at the London Stadium when he came on as a second half sub. So United are going to be difficult, but, you know, we'll be up for it, up for the cup. Been saying that for 41 years.
Yeah, we'll lose 6-0 again like we did last time we went. I don't think Moyes wanted anyone who is available. Maybe they did give him the money. No, I think that's a load of bollocks. When we were 1-0, we reacted well, says Lawrence Frimpong. Yeah, they hit us. He's talking about the Liverpool game last night. They hit us with that second goal quick, man. I don't care how you look at that goal. That was a header out from defence and 2 passes, and it was in the back of the net. And let's not be, you know, let's not be fucking hasty here. That was a world class goal, and the next one was as well.
I think all 3 of their goals were world class, if I'm honest.
What ball gives the manager 30 mil?
Everton have signed Josh King from Bournemouth.
Yeah, I knew they would. What manager gives what ball gives a manager 30 mil to spend on the last day? It's like a bit like Brewster's Millions, isn't it? They whop it out and they go like that. If you can spend it, you can keep it, and all of that sort of thing. That's what they must have done. They must have wheeled out. They must have took him in a room with a pallet with 30 million quid and went, go and spend one quickly. See how quickly you can spend that. It's ridiculous. Postman Chappie, remember what I said? Lingard will be a revelation for West Ham. I hope you're right, mate.
I think he will as well. I think he will. I think he's gonna prove a lot of people wrong. I've seen him get a lot of stick by some fans on social media. Maybe that's because they judge him on his Instagram and the way he is. But you got to remember, he's a young kid. He's grown up in the social media world, like most people, youngsters. I keep saying youngster. He's 28. I think of him as a lot younger than 28. He's been around a little while now, but he's got something to prove.
Nick's fault on getting the bouts out. I've got no idea what that means, Joe. Sorry, mate. And I don't mean that disrespectfully, but I've got. Do you have any idea why?
Getting the bouts out?
Yeah.
I've seen a few people saying getting the boots out. Maybe he meant to write that.
Oh, maybe. My boots. I've got my boots downstairs. Christopher Bradley says we want to now buy based on philosophy instead of random players. Maybe Moyes didn't have a target that fitted the philosophy. Our inactivity is absurd. Let's be clear, but perhaps this is the reason. Could be the reason.
That's what I heard today. That apparently Sullivan. You know what Sullivan's like. He's got agents in all pockets. He's probably been offered loads of players, and if Moyes turned them down, he don't think they're good enough, or they don't fit the way he wants to play. Then fair play to Moyes. At least he first turn them down.
One of the things that I would say though is, you know, that they should transfer windows and like looking for players doesn't start on the 1st of January. It should start, you know, during. You know, as soon as the other one stops, they knew they was going to sell Haller. They knew he was going. I don't give a fuck. You don't get a deal over the line that quickly if nothing was already set up. There's no way on earth. I don't give a shit what Moyes says about we didn't know he was going. They knew he was going. They knew he was going.
He already had his suitcases on the side of the pitch on his last game.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. He already had an Ajax shirt underneath his fucking shirt.
Oh, yeah, Haller, where you going? He was going nowhere, and he was just boarding a plane.
Going up the shop. Yeah, it like, you know, you should be working on these things, and that's what we don't do. We don't work on things. We try and leave it all to the last minute, but I don't know. I'm just waffling now. I'm getting tired. Do you want to take some comments, mate?
Where are we up to?
I can't even see them.
No, mine. Let's have a look. Let's have a couple more before we go. Yeah, here's one. Del Boy. What's the Moyes philosophy? Winning. That's what he does.
No, I think it's work rate.
That's you got to admit that the players look a lot fitter this season. What you got to remember as well is this is David Moyes' first full season in charge at West Ham. I know he's been here 2 spells, but both times he's come in, it's been halfway through a season with someone else's squad. You know, this is his first full season. And with the work rate and the players he's brought in, we deserve to be where we are. You know, we've been lucky with injuries, as we said, but Moisey, and not only David Moyes, the backroom staff, Irvine, Naveen, Kevin Nolan, Stuart Pearce, they will have them players working non-stop. And it shows something that the players want to come in on their day off. The whole squad, that is, not just certain players, the whole squad come in and work harder when we know under Bilic, under Allardyce, under Pellegrini, players weren't even turning up for training, you know, and having days off. So I think that's what David Moyes is, you know, got into them and made them a lot fitter. And you never see our heads drop.
WHUFC, how much did the ball give Pellegrini? They give him a lot of money. Pellegrini. They give him a heck of a lot of money. They obviously believed in Pellegrini when probably a little bit of blind faith, probably because it was probably a stipulation of a contract.
Out of all the players that Pellegrini signed, who's left? Fornals, Diop. I think all the rest are gone, isn't they? Haller's gone. Anderson's out.
Yarmolenko,
yeah, he's still there. But I wouldn't say, well, look at it now. He did waste a lot of money. But at that time, you know, when we were spending all that money and bringing them sort of players in, we was all excited. But it didn't work out. That's what happened.
But the thing is, Anderson had a really good season. Haller had a really good start to the season. You know, he looked like a world beater when he scored 2 against Watford that day. You know, and Anderson had a good season the season before, but the last 2, he just hasn't been able to find his feet. Diop looked a fucking monster when we first bought him. He looked like, you know, one of the signings of the season. You know, I think it was Man United sniffing around him for £60 million a couple of years ago.
Balbuena's as well, isn't it?
Balbuena had a good start. He's been in and out, but he's getting better. But we you know, they can't dictate what we do in the future just because they've given Pellegrini a lot of money and they've lost a bit of money. They can't do that. I mean, what'd you do if you bought a fucking sandwich at the supermarket and it was mouldy? What would you do? Never eat again? You know, you have to go forward. You know, there's nothing you can do. There's absolutely nothing you can do. You have to, if you want to survive in the Premier League, investment is needed. If you want to go forward, larger investment is needed.
I think Mr. Mace sums up all our feelings. Never trust anyone who wears old-fashioned white fronts. That is the tag of the night. That is transfer deadline day summed up in one sentence. He's absolutely bang on. Never trust anyone that wears old-fashioned white fronts, like Mr. Bean ones.
Yeah. Okay, should we start wrapping up?
Yeah, that's it now, mate. There's deadline day's done. Transfer window's over. Well, at least now that we can concentrate now on the remaining of the season with no worrying about transfers. We can just concentrate on talking about the football, not worrying who's coming in, who's going out.
Can I just answer this one quickly? This is the last one I'm going to say. Cal Hugh says, you're always against the board, Nicky. None of us really know the ins and outs of the exact financial situation they're in. They can't just go out and spend their money just for the sake of it. 1 second. Yes, I'll do you a drink, no problem. They can't just go out and spend their money just for the sake of it. I am always against the board, Cal. You're right. Do I know the financial ins and outs of the exact financial situation there is? Nobody knows the exact financial situation. What I do know, however, is over the last couple of years, we've been in the top 20 richest clubs in the world. What I also know is it's not their money that they're spending. It's the club's money. They've saved a lot of money. They're putting a lot of money in. They're selling players. When you see the likes of Aston Villa and Fulham, who, let's not forget, Fulham spent as much money of us, I think even more when they went down that season, and they've got themselves back up. And let's rewind back to when they were selling the Bowling Stadium. If you ever went to the ticketing centre, we didn't ask them to spend their money. They told us they was going to have enough money to spend. Now, is it my fault or anybody else's fault that they believe that they haven't got any money to spend? I don't believe them, Cal. I don't believe them at all. There is money. There is money to spend. They just don't want to spend it. And that's why I'm always against the board. And that's that. You know, it's just, I'm always against the board because they, time and time again, and I'm not just saying it's me against the board. They're not just letting me down. They're letting you down. They're letting Ryan down. They're letting every fan that has ever gone to see a game down. They've got any fan that's ever invested a penny. They're just letting them down over and over again. They're bending us over and bumming us senseless, to be, to be fair. So of course I'm always against the board, because the board does not care about a single person that goes and invests their time or their money or their emotions into our club. They don't care anymore. And they don't have to prove it anymore. They've proven it time and time again. And that's why I'm against the board.
Here. I'll just mention this super chat, because you have to mention the super chats. £2 coming. Thank you so much, 97. Diop equals prime R9. Ryan's words from his favourite. I tweeted that earlier. I said, watch when David Moyes turns Diop into a prime R9 Ronaldo, the Brazilian Ronaldo. But I was only having a bit of banter. But you never know. You never know. I doubt it. But you never know. It's a funny old game, isn't it, Mr. Hawkins?
It is indeed. Thank you very much for joining us on this edition of West Ham Fan TV Transfer Special. Sorry we didn't have more news. I was sort of hopeful that we'd have got at least somebody, even if it had been some fucking youngster coming. It'd been somebody. But
well, you never know. We might be back tomorrow. We've just signed someone on a free, so you never know.
Yeah, Costa's still around. If he wants to lower his wage demands, we may take him on a transfer. If we do, we'll come back. But anyway, thank you guys. Thank you so much for everyone that got involved in the chat. Thank you so much for getting involved over the last week, really. We'll be back, obviously, building up to the Villa game.
We're all going to have smiles on our faces again.
Hopefully. I'm sure we will. Anything left to say, Ryan?
No, just keep subscribing. I think we're ticking over now. We're nearly hitting 55,000. We want to try to get to 60 before the end of the season, if not more.
60,000, and we would have we could fill up the London Stadium with our.
We keep going. We've got loads coming up. We've got plans for this channel to go to the next level. We've got loads of things planned. So just stick with us. You know, we say what we feel. We speak the truth. You know, people might not agree with us all the time, but it is what it is. We sit here and give our thoughts. We do it for free. You know, we don't earn. It's not a wage. We've all got full-time jobs. You know, what's time now? 11:30. I've got to get up in 6.5 hours for work. So, but it is what it is. We enjoy doing it, and yeah, just keep subscribing. It's Scott will be back with a preview for the Villa game, I believe.
Yeah, he will.
So yeah, we'll see you Wednesday. Watch alongs, fan cams, post match pint, another late one. But fuck it, if we win, I don't care.
Absolutely. One thing left to say.
Come on, you irons.
You irons.